Well, hello again, everybody. Good to see you again. In an earlier video, we talked about doing a funeral, about planning a funeral service, and I didn't talk very much about doing a graveside service, and that's what I want to deal with this time. When you do a graveside service, there are some things that are subtly different. Now, you still need to make your 2 phone calls. First phone call to the funeral home. You need to talk to the funeral home director, and you need to have a good working relationship with your funeral home. Second call is to the family. You need to go visit with the family, sit down with them, talk to them about the deceased, get all the information that you need to write an obituary. You're going to use that again. But here's where the service begins to differ from an in-chapel or in-church building service. When you get out to the graveside, the funeral home people will already have located the casket at the correct position. They will also have a tent put up almost always and chairs for the immediate family to be seated. When the mourners gather at the graveside, the funeral home people will take care of seating the family, and when everyone else is assembled there, they'll kind of give you a signal. And when they give you the signal, you'll know it's time to start. And here's where the order of service changes just a little bit. You're going to start by reading that obituary that you have created, that you have written using the same kind of information that I gave before. And remember, very often, families and funeral home personnel will overlook the religious dimension of a person's life. We don't want to do that. That's very important to us in the funeral service. So you read the obituary and you offer a prayer second. After that, sometimes, not often, but sometimes there will be music that is used. Funeral home people will take care of that, unless it's congregational singing, and that will be a special circumstance. After the music, if there is any, you go ahead and give the main funeral address, what is called the eulogy. After the eulogy is concluded, you're going to have a few committal remarks about, we commit this body back to the earth as it was in the beginning, but the soul, which is the true person, we commit into the care of Almighty God. You then offer a closing prayer and step aside from the head of the casket where you've been standing all this time. You always want to stand at the head of the casket. After that, if there are additional honors to be paid, sometimes there are military honors for veterans, and the military honors will be paid at that time. Sometimes, even after that, there will be service club honors, such as Lions Club, Rotary Club. Sometimes Masonic orders will have special ceremonies that they want to conduct. That's their responsibility, and the funeral home personnel will take care of coordinating all of that. So you don't need to do anything about that. But at that point, your job is pretty nearly done. You just need to continue to be respectful of the family, give them as much time to spend there as they want. The casket will always be closed at a graveside service. And the reason for that is because of the wind. Wind can create a lot of problems if a casket is opened, and so the funeral home people will insist that the casket be closed. I can only remember a couple of circumstances in which the casket was then opened at a graveside service. It is very rare, and that's the responsibility of the funeral home people, and they'll take care of anything that has to be done there. There's one more element that I want to talk about in terms of just practicality. For many, many years, I had no choice but to use a paper Bible and paper notes at the graveside service. Sometimes those can get damaged. You can have damage to the Bible if it's raining or the wind is blowing excessively or something like that. So you want to be careful about using a paper Bible. About 10 years ago, I had a really unpleasant incident where I almost lost all of my notes in a violent gust of wind at a graveside service. And from that moment on, I started using an electronic reader. I strongly recommend you use an electronic reader for outdoor services. There are several advantages to this. I recommend you do not use your phone. It's a matter of perception. It just looks too casual. It looks not much different from the guy who's sitting in a restaurant texting his buddy while he's waiting for his food to be served. You don't want to take the service that lightly. Use an e-reader, and it doesn't matter which one you use, truly. I've had good success with the least expensive e-reader available. The advantages are obvious. You can raise the font to make it easily readable to you. I recommend that you include all of the scriptures, every single word that you want to say, you need to have on your e-reader in front of you. Obviously, you need to make sure your battery is charged up before you go out to the graveside. If you choose to use a tablet or a color reader of some sort, by all means test it first. Go outside in bright sunlight. Make sure that you can read it in bright sunlight. That's why I prefer the e-ink readers, whether it's a Nook or a Kindle or something else. Make yourself comfortable with that, but I think you will be surprised at how well this will work for you in those circumstances. The last thing that I want to mention in this concerns the honorarium again. Sometimes you will be provided an honorarium, and again, if that comes from the funeral home, you say thank you and go your way. If it comes in the form of a card or letter or a check or even cash from one of the family members, you owe them a thank you note, and so don't fail to do that. And again, a couple of days after the service is over, you want to visit the family and make sure that they are doing well, and give them an opportunity to ask any more questions and have an opportunity to talk to them about Jesus again. I hope this is of some help. Concerning a graveside service, they're usually more abbreviated, and sometimes the family will even insist that it be a rather short service. They're usually abbreviated. There's a little less to them in terms of your planning and construction, but you need to take it just as seriously as you always do. And whatever you do, give all glory and honor to God. God bless you. And as always, folks, like, subscribe, and share if someone can use this video, because ministry matters. God bless you.